What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and as a quick update for those of you who have seen some of the really creepy and odd-looking minis that are coming out of the newest set from WizKids, these are minis tied to the new 50th anniversary set called Vecna, Eve of Ruin. If you missed out on this at PAX Unplugged, one of the things announced was that there's going to be a new level 1 to 20 campaign as part of the 50th anniversary of D&D, and I'm assuming alongside the 2024 core rulebooks. And that, again, is this adventure called Vecna, Eve of Ruin. It's supposed to be a time, I don't know if it's time traveling, but plane hopping adventure taking you through like D&D's greatest hits on presumably your journey to kill Vecna. So with that being said, 2 minis have been released, and they are quite interesting. One is the Spider Dragon, and the other is the Bone Rock. Now, you may have seen images and things going around of these. I have a little bit more information from the folks at WizKids themselves, so let's go ahead and take a look. You can see right here, D&D Icons of the Realms, a Spider Dragon box miniature. I'll have a closer, better version of the render in just a second. Elevate your Vecna, Eve of Ruin campaign with the D&D Icons of the Realms Spider Dragon boxed miniature. This huge-size box miniature set features the terrifying spider dragon that is sure to inspire dread among your players. It is set for a $39.99 MSRP, which is pretty reasonable. I don't know the exact size. I don't think it states, but available in local game stores July 2024. Does this mean that Vecna, Eye of Ruin is launching in July of 2024? Notice in the more recent videos we've seen from the D&D team, they said that, again, they'd be working on the player's handbook in May. Again, I still feel like if they're still working on it, then there's no way they're turning it around for July. Now, I thought you were going to... and maybe I've been wrong this whole time, but I thought it made the most sense to release the book, the new player's handbook, alongside Vecna, Eye of Ruin, so you'd have all of the new kind of rules for your characters to then use new characters to go play the new adventure. Perhaps, though, we'll get Vecna, Eye of Ruin before the new core rulebooks, so we'll get those maybe in July, or perhaps, what might be the first time ever, we'll get the minis before the book launches. Usually, WizKids is on a slight delay, if sometimes not a significant delay. For example, they just announced their Tomb of Annihilation miniatures. Tomb of Annihilation has obviously been a campaign that's been out for years, but either way. And number 2 here is the Bone Rock. Again, we'll get to the closer renders here, but prepare for the Vecna, Eye of Ruin campaign with D&D Icons of the Realms Bone Rock boxed miniature. This huge miniature, this one says it's huge miniature, set features the dreadful Bone Rock as it swoops down on your table. This one here set for $69.99 as the MSRP, and again, also set to be available in July. They don't say... Oh, this is also a huge size miniature, so they're going to be larger size minis. We can go ahead and head over to the WizKids D&D mini page, and you can see it here again listed under the new arrival section with, again, that pre-order time frame. Actually not listed on here, but there are some, it looks like there's you can get a Snowbound Bugbear gift with purchase, so if you do want to pick it up via WizKids, that's an option for you. Notice it doesn't say, it just says pre-order today. It doesn't say a time frame, whereas the information that I have lists July. So there you go. I promised I'd show you the renders. So here is a close-up, kind of better render of the Spider Dragon itself, which is absolutely terrifying. Now, note, for those of you who don't know, technically anything, I guess realistically, if you look at the description of like half dragons in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I'm not sure if it's entirely in the 5th edition one, but I know it exists in older ones. If it was capable of breeding with a dragon, it was capable of producing a half-dragon offspring. So the concept of, obviously, a half-dragon, as most people think of it, is a half-dragon, half-human. Usually when, say, something like a dragon would shapeshift into human form, and then that would lead to a half-dragon child from, whatever that parent was. But, in theory, if they decided to shapeshift into a spider, a dragon in the form of a spider could, in theory, mate with another spider and then lead you to a half-dragon spider, half-dragon giants, things like this. I've actually, funnily enough, in one of my original campaigns long, long ago, maybe 8 years ago for 5e, I actually had a black half-dragon spider in the campaign. Although it looked more spider-esque, it was more like a spider with a breath weapon than this monstrosity. I wish I could have thought this one up on my own. It's fantastic. And then the Bone Rock, I mean, it's cool. I don't actually think we even have an official rock miniature. I mean, as in ROC. From Wizards of the Coast, we have the Ember Rock from the Critical Role set from WizKids, but I don't think we have a rock miniature, at least from the newer sets of WizKids. So interesting that we're getting a skeletal version before we get the standard version. But anyway, there you go. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on these two miniatures. Also, could this be a potential precursor giving us an idea of when the book will drop? Or could this be, like I said, an unprecedented situation where you get the minis for the adventure before the minis launch? I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either. I want to make that very clear. Having the miniatures ahead of time when you roll into the campaign is nice, when in the past sometimes you'd be 6 months or more. They've gotten a little bit closer time frame now to be able to get the minis closer to the launch of the game. But I don't believe, for example, I don't think the Planescape miniatures are out yet, and Planescape came out last year. And again, we talked about Tomb of Annihilation earlier, so let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I'll see you all next time.